record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and the notice of a meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551. We will now adjourn into closed session. I know everybody's excited because it's the first day of school, but I'm gonna crash the party, and we're gonna begin this meeting with a public hearing. So, Dr. Warren.
Board, Mr. Grasswich, where is Mr. Grasswich? Board, every year, John and his crew, and with the support of everyone else, does an excellent job presenting to you the budget to be adopted at the end of June. And then your only other responsibility for the budgetary process is the adoption of our yearly tax rate. That is what the hearing is tonight. By state law, we are required to hold a public hearing on our proposed tax rate. The information on that is on page 5 in your packet. Mr. Grasswich, any comments?
I just note that the budget, of course, was adopted at the second meeting in June, and this will fund the budget. We have a split process because we wait for the certified roll to do the tax rate adoption, and that doesn't come out until July. And, of course, our fiscal year starts at the beginning of July. Also, the notice was published on August the 19th in the Denton Record Chronicle, and a copy is in your packet.
So, Board, the recommended tax rate to fund the budget you've already approved this year is $1.04 maintenance and operation, a 45-cent INS, interest and sinking, for a total of $1.49. That's an increase, of 4 cents, and that was because of the passage of the 2016 bond initiative that our community supported. So, Mr. President, if we'll just need to hold the hearing.
Board members, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions concerning the proposed budget? No? Okay, we're going to open it up to the audience. If any of you have any questions or concerns about the proposed tax rate, please feel free to jump up and run to the podium. Okay, going once, twice. Now, that was an exciting public meeting. We're going to close this public meeting, and we're going to move on to...
At what time?
It is 7:02.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to reconvene the regular meeting. And if you would, please rise for the invocation and pledge.
All right, folks, if you feel comfortable doing so, please pray with me. Our dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. And, Lord, thank you for being with us on our first day of school. It's very exciting today, Lord. Thank you for our students. Thank you for our classroom teachers. Thank you for all the staff who made today special. Lord, we ask that you be with us in our meeting tonight, and please see us safely home. And, Lord, above all things else, just be with our children. Give them your love, your guidance, your wisdom, and your protection. It's in your name we pray. Amen. All right, folks, we have two very special guests. Ladies, come up to the microphone, please. We have, Dr. Eddie, where are you? We have two very proud Eaton Eagles to say our pledges today. Kiara Renfro. Kiara, wave at everybody. She is an 11th grader at Eaton High School, and we have Lauren Bryant, a very proud first senior class member of Eaton High School. So, Lauren, tell us something about yourself, please, ma'am.
I am serving as the VR Eaton FFA secretary this year. I show on the rabbit team, and I am on the floral CDE team.
Outstanding. Kira, tell us something about yourself, please.
I am the VR Eaton FFA Sentinel. This is my first year showing cattle, and I am also in the floral program at Eaton High School.
Great. And did we have a good first day of school?
Yes, sir.
Good answer. Very good answer. All right, ladies, lead us in the pledge to both flags, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Great job, ladies. Stay put for just a second. Mr. Schluter has a present for you.
Thanks for me.
Thank you.
Some future leaders right there.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to item number 6, recognitions. Dr. Warren.
Board, we have some very exciting recognitions tonight. Mrs. Conklin.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Warren and President Schluter. Can you join us at the front for recognitions? First, I would like to introduce Phil Beckman, our Partners in Education Specialist, to recognize our partners in education this evening.
Good evening, Board. The Northwest ISD Partners in Education program creates school support opportunities for parents, businesses, and the community by offering a wide variety of options amenable to every schedule, talent, and expertise. PI brings volunteers into Northwest ISD classrooms at each campus in all grade levels. Tonight, we're pleased to recognize the following businesses. Partners, as I call your name, please step forward and receive a certificate from Dr. Warren and Board President Mark Schluter. First up, Galderma. Here tonight from Galderma, a Nestle skincare company based in Fort Worth, is Director of Total Rewards and HR Services, Monique Wallach. Galderma donated 1,600 backpacks with school supplies, 30 cases of bottled water, and volunteer time. Please join me in thanking Monique and her colleagues at Galderma for their support of the 5th Annual Northwest Back to School Fair. Monique? Next up is EECU. Here tonight from EECU is Director of Social Responsibility and Community Involvement, Barb Walker. EECU hosted a community stuff-to-bus event and collected $3,800 from employees and donated school supplies to help more than 250 NISD students in need. EECU was also a sponsor of New Teacher Luncheon and Convocation, and as such, made a $300 donation to the Northwest ISD Education Foundation. Please join me in thanking Barb and her colleagues at EECU, as well as its members, for their support of the 5th Annual Northwest Back to School Fair and Northwest ISD Education Foundation. And finally, United Way of Denton County. Here tonight from United Way of Denton County is President and CEO Gary Henderson. NISD's annual Back to School Fair, in partnership with United Way of Denton County, provided school supplies and services to roughly 1,000 students in need, continuing the district's tradition of ensuring all students were ready for school. Services provided included immunizations, sports physicals, haircuts, and more. Steel Accelerated High School's Shears of Steel Salon provided more than 50 haircuts at the event. Please join me in thanking Gary and his team at United Way of Denton County for their partnership of the 5th Annual Northwest Back to School Fair.
Okay. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Rob Thornell, our Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, to the front, and Dr. Ron Myers, Principal of Byron Nelson High School, and Mr. Todd Rogers, Associate Principal of Byron Nelson High School, to the front for our next recognition. Tonight, we're recognizing Byron Nelson High School senior Hanya Burney. Hanya is being recognized for earning a perfect score of 36 on the ACT exam. She is among the top 0.1% of students who take this exam. She plans to major in sociology in college and hopes to attend Stanford University. All right, great job. If I could have Dr. Thornell and Dr. Myers please stay at the front. I'd also like to ask Executive Director of College and Career Readiness and Innovation, Celine Broswell, to join them. In July, Byron Nelson High School FFA was represented at the 89th Texas FFA State Convention in Corpus Christi. Dr. Myers received the Honorary American degree and will be awarded at the National FFA Convention in October. And Ms. Broswell received the Vocational Agriculture Texas Associations of Texas Outstanding School Administrator Award. Okay, next I'd like to ask Eaton High School Principal Dr. Carrie Eddy and Director of Counseling Jamie Farber, she is here, and Eaton High School's lead counselor Shayna Jackson to come to the front. Ms. Jackson is being recognized as a Texas On-Course Leader Fellow, joining a prestigious group of 29 state counselors and advisors among the top in their field. She is a member of the first group selected in the program's history. And Dr. Eddy, if you can stay at the front. I'd also like to ask representatives from our Junior Achievement Program, Randall Mays and Alexia Willis, to come to the front, as well as Eaton High School's Business Academy facilitator, Este Cuellar, and Ms. Celine Broswell. You can come back up to the front. 2 student-run companies from Northwest ISD's Business Academy of Management and Entrepreneurship earned top honors at the recent Junior Achievement National Leadership Summit, earning awards for their originality and digital presence. The company from the district's Business Academy is housed at Eaton High School and accounted for 2 of the 15 nominees in Junior Achievement's annual Company Programs Award. This award honors top student-run companies in the nation. So tonight we're recognizing those 2 groups. The first one is Feel the Color, and that's operated by Jakayla Dixon. Caitlin Case, Ethan Lee, Katie Day, and Kennedy House. Congratulations. Okay. And we have one more student business group. The second Business Academy company was the CHAAO group, which makes art and jewelry out of recycled materials. And they are Riley Adams, Landry Lachambe, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Alex Udis. Yeah, I got it. And Renee Morgan and Marshall McAdams. Everybody get pictures? Thank you, guys. All right, next I'd like to ask Medlin Middle School Principal Paige Cantrell, as well as Julie Hinshaw. Do we have Abby Flores here? You guys come to the front. Medlin Middle School recently won a Promising Practice Award from Character.org at the National Forum of Character Education for its work on 7th grade empathy education projects. At Medlin, 7th grade students researched areas in their school or community in need of empathy, then created and documented their own projects to inspire others to do the same. Medlin was just one of 5 Texas schools to receive a Promising Practice Award this year. All right, and lastly, we have a PTA award recognition. Is Carrie Ann Jones here? She is. She is our council PTA president, if you want to come to the front. We want to recognize Joy Harrison, who's here with us in the audience. Joy, if you can come to the front. please. Joy has received the National PTA Life Achievement Award. She has been serving students and staff of NISD as the Council of PTA's president for the past 2 years. And I think Carrie and Jones wanted to say just one quick thing about the awards.
Joy received the Life Achievement Award and received a nice letter from the National PTA President I'd like to read to you. It says, your commitment to passionately advocating for the education and well-being of children deserves acknowledgement, and I'm pleased to present you with the National PTA Life Achievement Award for your great efforts to improve the lives of the American youth. This is the highest recognition bestowed by PTA and is given only to those who have demonstrated exemplary service in support of children. PTA promotes the collaboration of families, schools, and communities throughout the country and encourages everyone who cares about kids to speak up with a powerful voice on their behalf. You possess such a mighty voice, and I cannot thank you enough for the work that you have done and undoubtedly will continue to do. As of today, you are a member of the most distinguished group of advocates for children, and your name will be published annually in the PTA Life Achievement Honor Roll. On behalf of the more than 5 million members of PTA, it is my personal privilege to present you with the National PTA Life Achievement Award. Congratulations, and thank you once again for your years of extraordinary contributions to the lives of children.
And that's all for recognition. This concludes recognition.
Now, y'all are more than welcome to stay at the meeting, and if you're not getting to speak yourself, we understand that. Thanks, guys. Have a good second day. I sure can. A lot better looking what I've got now.
It's always so hard to believe that we lose such a crowd after
I know.
after recognitions. Nevertheless, let's move on to item number 7, which is public participation. Is there any? There is none this evening. Moving to item number 8, consent agenda. Board members.
President,
Ms. Kopp.
I move to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
A motion has been made by Ms. Kopp, seconded by Mr. Sproles. All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Full complement tonight. Excellent. Moves us down to item number 9, discussion action. Under 8, 2017-2018 Campus Improvement Goals and Objectives. Dr. Warren?
Board, the campus improvement plans that were presented to you last board meeting begin on page 99 in your packet. The PowerPoint that Dr. Ferris reviewed with you begins on page 853. Both he and Dr. Griffin are in the audience. If you have any questions about those, we worked extremely hard. I can't say enough about our building principals. Did an outstanding job with the creation of these campus improvement goals and objectives, and we're going to recommend that you approve those plans, please.
Any discussion? Dr. Simpson?
I just want to, again, thank you all for all of your work. To me, the campus plans really are a good place to begin and a good place to guide us forward. And so I appreciate the work that goes into it, and I know that there are ongoing opportunity for teachers and administrators to have conversations. So thank you.
I did want to just ask, and either Logan or Michael, either one, but the problem of practice, I didn't really see those in here. Is that part of the campus improvement plans, or is that to come at a theater near you type of deal? Coming soon.
It is a piece that the campuses are collectively working on with their teachers and staff. So typically they look at all of the goals and objectives that they have in their campus improvement plan, and then kind of sift out the ones that are going to be their primary instructional focus throughout the year, and they're working on designing those right now. And they'll have their final drafts of those in the next couple of weeks, and after they've had input from teachers and staff.
That's what I was going to ask. Do teachers have a lot of input with those as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Thanks.
Other questions?
Hey, Mr. President, just a quick comment on the, when I was going through all the campuses, I really focused in on goal 3 on how to involve the community and parents. And there's some great ideas in there. And it's very obvious that a lot of the principals know their community and know how to, we just need to see the different, the different ways they're going to engage the community depending on the community they live in. And I was very impressed. So when I get to go around to meet the schools later this year, I look forward to talking to them about that to see how it's playing out.
Great, thank you.
Anything else?
Mr. President.
Mr. Wright.
I move to adopt the 2017-18 campus improvement goals and objectives as recommended by the administration, and to grant authority to campus principals to amend their respective plans as needed throughout the year in response to reliable data and campus needs.
Second.
I'll recognize Dr. Simpson on that. Any further discussion on this item? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
I'll say that these are more than words, which could fill up many books like we have, but they're really from the heart, and I applaud the staff all the way down to the schools for the implementation of these. Down to number 9B, the resolution of the Northwest ISD levying the tax rate for the Northwest ISD for the tax year 2017, providing an effective date. Board members, Dr. Warren?
Board, as discussed in the hearing, the administration's recommendation is for you to adopt an M&O tax rate of $1.04, an interest and sinking rate of 0.45 cents, with a grand total of $1.49. That is our recommendation.
These are two separate motions, by the way. Questions? Comments? Motion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Fuller.
I move that we approve the levy and adoption of tax rate on the $100 valuation for property located within the NISD for the tax year 2017 as follows: 1.04000 for the purpose of maintenance and operation.
Motion has been made by Mr. Fuller, seconded by Dr. Roush. For the motion as read, any further discussion on this item? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
I'll entertain a motion for the next item.
Mr. Schluter, I would like to say before we take a vote on it, I do appreciate once again the administration leaving us with the wiggle room of leaving it at 45 cents and not going higher, so we still have room in the 50-cent threshold up to the 50 cents. And so I do appreciate that. Good work, and I'm glad we got it to that point. And I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve, levy, and adopt the tax rate of $100 valuation on property located within the NISD for the tax year 2017 as follows: 0.45000 cents for the payment of principal and interest on debt of the district.
A motion has been made by Mr. Fuller, seconded by Ms. Kopp. Mr. Fuller mispronounced that. Any further discussion on this item? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Fuller. Brings us down to number 9C, project procurement. CM at risk for elementary number 19. Dr. Warren.
Board, Mr. McClure gave you this presentation last board meeting. We are in the process of the design phase of a new footprint for our elementary schools. The recommendation of the administration is to go CM, construction manager, at risk for these schools. This does a couple of things for us. As Tim explained, number one is it gets the construction manager on board at an early time during the design phase, and there'll be a three-member team, the school district, the architects, and the construction manager to really be shoulder to shoulder and hand to hand when designing the school. And also at the other end of the process, when you have approved the maximum price, it puts the onus of bringing the building in at that price on the construction manager. That's where the at-risk part comes out. So I would recommend that you approve CM at risk for elementary number 19.
Mr. President.
Mr. Wright.
Move to approve the CM at risk construction delivery method for elementary 19 as recommended by the administration.
A motion has been made by Mr. Wright, seconded by Dr. Simpson. Any further discussion on this item? All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. You guys are on a roll.
Thank you, Board.
Moves us down to item number 10, reports, July financial and investment report. Dr. Warren.
Mr. Gresswich, give us the good news.
Everything's invested safely and wisely, and we are a little behind on earnings compared to our benchmark comparisons, but we've got everything laddered out in August, and so you'll see a return in that one area. But it is diversified in terms of maturities as well as investment vehicles. We had $247 million invested. We earned $149,000 for the first month, so interest rates are up, and so are earnings as a result. Not much else to say. The financials are attached, but of course at the first month there's really not much of a story to tell there at this point. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Gresswich? Thank you, Mr. Gresswich. Moves us down to 10B, facilities planning and construction monthly report. Dr. Warren.
Mr. McClure.
Evening, Board. I'm going to turn over to Sarah here in just a minute to get you up to date on all our construction that has happened and our planning efforts. However, I did want to take a brief moment to do two things, and one was to recognize Sarah and her team and Jim and his team for the work they put in over the summer, working through the past few weekends, late days, getting everything ready for our campuses. I think they've done a great job. Our fields project, which was our big project to complete this summer, came in. All middle school fields and high school fields were available for use today for all of our students. We will begin on the baseball and softball fields, and Sarah will go over that in the report. But I just wanted to take a brief moment to commend them and their teams because they've done a remarkable job getting us prepared for this school year. Secondly, in light of the tragedy that the southern part of our state is going through right now, I just want to bring a couple of things to attention of the board. One is our efforts as a district to support other districts. This district has used that before. We have stepped up and sent portables to West, and when we weren't using West, we will make every effort to support our fellow districts when we can down once we know what's cleared out when things become available. I am president-elect and will be president starting in October this year of the Association for Learning Environments for the Southern Region, and we've already started our task force to work towards how we can support those school districts down there. So either through that or through some of our colleagues that we know down in that region, we'll reach out and see if there's anything they need from us and try to step up as a district as well. In addition to that, I just want to go ahead and bring up now, we're starting to do some research on the effect that Katrina had on construction prices, and I anticipate that we're going to see the same, not just us, but everywhere in the state of Texas. And I just want everybody to be of mindset that we are going to be very diligent and focused on our budgets of the bond that we just passed with the task against us, knowing that fuel, material, and labor will all most likely increase over the next 3 to 5 years due to this catastrophic event that we're dealing with. And so we have a strong task for us to manage those budgets, and we have a strong call, I believe, to help out our fellow Texans where we see fit when we move forward. and find out what their needs are. So that's all I wanted to bring up today. I'm going to turn it over. Unless you have any questions on that, I'll turn it over to Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I just want to, like always, go through our planning construction. You can see the list of all the projects we are still working on, some finished, and then our planning projects to look for the future. This is the picture I showed you in June, our last construction meeting, and here's the next one. We've definitely been moving pretty hard out there. Once you get out of the ground, it's easy to put the steel up and get it closed in. But just wanted to give you an overview on the school. You remember the site plan I gave you guys in the past board meetings that said A, B, and C areas of the building. So your A is the bottom left of the academic wing, and that is sheetrock is 95%, windows are 90%. Second floor, same thing, sheetrock's 95%, and the roof, the actual roof is 90%. So that's almost closed in. Area B is the middle of the front of the building, which is the more of the administration building. We've got structural steels 100%, roof decking's 100%, and interior framing is about 95%. Area C, which is the front right of the building, which take in mind that this was taken about 2 weeks ago. We've got structural steels 100%, roof deck is 100% or 95%, and the first floor exterior framing is 95%. So they're moving on this project. So we go back to the back left, which is the fine arts area. Load-bearing walls are 100%, and the non-load bearing walls are 50%. And then in the gym area, load-bearing are 100, and the non-load bearing walls are 90%. Joists and roofing are 100% in the gym areas. And then Eagle Boulevard is open. I don't know if you guys realize that, but we opened it this weekend in preparing for the first day of school. But mind you, it is an ingress. It's not an egress. Tim and I are working with TxDOT to hopefully get that changed, but currently it's just to help traffic into the site. This is an Area A where you can see the sheetrock going up in the main hallway. There's Miss Weber. We're touring, and she's in her office, very excited to be in her office. This is just a view from Area A looking into C, the stairwell, one of the main stairwells, and behind it is the library. This is just a view from second floor, Area C, looking back at the building. And then, as some of you know, we had the topping out party in the last month. It was a great fellowship. We had the family come out to sign the beam. We had students come out. This is our first 6th grade class, so they'll be the first grades to go all through Adams Middle School. These are Schluter students. And then there's us hoisting the beam up in place. Here's an overview of our athletic improvements we did over the summer. You can see that the high schools, we finished all the practice fields, and now we're on the baseball and softball fields. If you notice at the schools, Hellas is mobilizing out there and getting ready to start those fields, and we have a substantial completion date to get those finished by December 15th. So we've got some time, but hopefully we don't have a fall like we had summer, because if you go to the middle school, per Channel 5, we had the 7th wettest summer on record in the state of Texas. And of course, the summer we are doing field events or field work. So we did get, as Tim said earlier, we did get the turfs finished and ready for the kids this morning. They were loving it. I was at Tidwell this morning watching them running on it, and they were enjoying their time. But unfortunately, with the rain that we had, track surface is very particular on the weather, on when you can lay it. Can't be wet. Wind can't be moving at all, pretty much, about 5 miles per hour. And so we have asphalt at Tidwell and Medlin, just not the finishing surface for the track. They're able to use it, run around. We'll eventually stripe it before we put the surfacing on, so they have markings of how the distance and their lanes. But we're going to be working with Joel and his team, as well as the principals, to get that surfacing on. We're hoping to do it over the weekends, so we don't get into the winter, which it's been told it's going to be a wet winter. So we need to get that done before winter. Taking in mind these are done 2 weeks ago, but here's Tidwell Middle School.
Chisholm, which we are planning to do a stadium there. Currently, right now, Musco Lighting is out there installing lights. Our bleachers will be starting a week from tomorrow, and then we're just waiting on Daktronics to install the scoreboard. So we're hoping to have their first game out there in October. Here's a picture of Pike, Medlin, so nice and green. Here's an overview of one of the practice fields at Northwest and the sub-varsity with the track, and then there's the North practice field. And then there is Byron Nelson. And then I don't know if you guys have been to the stadium yet. I know we had a scrimmage last Friday, but Joel did a great job of designing that field. It looks really good. Having the infield or the end zones saying Northwest ISD looks really good. And then also at the stadium, we replaced the scoreboard. That was the original scoreboard that was installed in 2005 when the building was built. And so now we have an all-digital screen if you look closely in this picture. Very exciting. Our pavement improvement project that we had over the summer, we had some just minor concrete work that we needed to get done, so we piled it all in one. We were able to get all the schools completed before school started. We just still have the maintenance lot to finish. We weren't worried about that. We wanted to make sure that the schools were all ready to go for the start of school. Elementary 18, Balfour Beatty is the contractor. They're out there moving dirt as we speak, and we've got a grading permit, and we're working on the building permit. We should get it any day now. I check every day. So here's your elevation on Elementary 18, the location, and then your site. Beck addition. Tim and I went to the council meeting last week. Everything went smoothly. They approved it. We've actually started being noticeable on site. We wanted to be there before school started so we don't interrupt any traffic flow, or they get used to something for 2 weeks and then we change it. So we have the fencing out there ready to go, and we should be getting that permit this week. And again, here is where we're adding on to Beck. It's just 4 classrooms to help alleviate from, I think it's 3rd grade. It has that bubble of students. And then our planning projects. We are working on Hughes Elementary Addition to make it from 650 to 850, and then Beck Roofing for this next summer, and then our new prototype elementary school. Any questions? Thank you.
Tim and Sarah, I got to tell you something. You guys followed legends at Northwest with Moran and Dennis, and you guys have stepped in and just kept it flying. So we're so proud of you. Sarah, hopefully you can have a social life after some of these projects will slow down. I know you both have invested a lot of time, and it's greatly appreciated, so thank you very much. Brings us down to number 10C, the Future Northwest ISD Initiatives. Dr. Warren?
Board, thank you. Just very quickly, I'm going to run through just a very short PowerPoint. In a little over 3 weeks, September the 18th, I believe, we're going to sit down for Team of 8 training, and we've asked the facilitator to help us come up with those imperatives, those performance objectives and imperatives that we think are going to be important throughout this school year. And I just wanted to just give you, as we get into the mind for that, and then just a little bit later, we're going to engage a facilitator for our new strategic plan. I just wanted to make you aware of some really, really good conversations, some deep conversations we've been having as an administrative team. You know, you've got a very, very strong team up here, and we had a really good day in June. And I just want to go over some things with you to let you know about them. You've got a copy of all the notes. But we sat down, myself, the cabinet, all of our academic and operation executive directors, and then some specific program department directors sat down for a day in June. We went out to the OLC, and we rehashed the 16-17 school year, talked about the formal and informal challenges and how we did on those challenges. And then we looked ahead to this school year and talked about those kind of challenges that we would have this school year. And then we just had a dreaming session. What would we like to do? And kind of identified even some fun funding issues in doing so. So, looking at the 17, 18 NISD imperatives and looking at, we mentioned these in our district improvement plan, a lot of these, but just really understanding, what it needs and really serving our children to make them future ready. And these are just examples of what came out of those discussions, making sure that every one of our students progresses to the next level, whatever that next level is, without any need for remediation. All NISD students will be able to read on grade level. That's the literacy has been a focal point for us for a long time. Making sure our parents really choose NISD because of the opportunities that we're affording their children, both in academics and our extracurriculars, our co-curricular programs. That every student has a mentor. That we're providing the social foundations and support as well for academic support for every one of our kids. That we're going out and seeking stronger relationships with our area universities, with their state universities to understand their needs, but also for them to support us as well. And Mel, you talked a little bit about that, and just making sure we get the very best deals for our children with those partnerships. More service learning opportunities, more opportunities for our kids to serve. The Lone Star Cup, looking at the success that our kids have in both athletics, co-curriculars, and academics is very important to us, and making sure that that is something that we keep our eye on the ball. And then understanding some of the needs of our leaders, making sure that we provide operational and procedural training for all NISD leadership with an emphasis on our building principals. We do have new building principals. We have building principals who have not been in place for very long, making sure that we support them with the training. I think we do a really, really good job, maybe better than a lot of school districts with their academic training, with their instructional training, but really operational and procedural training is important as well for them to lead their schools. And then we just sat back and talked for an afternoon, about 2 to 3 hours, on just kind of what we dream of and what's going to be for that. And we broke it down into those that would need a future bond election and those that would not need a future bond election to pay for. So within the next 5 years, what the administration looked at moving forward, and something that we would not have to have anything above and beyond what our M&O budget produced for us. But we talked a lot about this, and we've talked a lot about this, you and I have, about closing our achievement gaps. That it does not matter where a child lives in the district. It doesn't matter what kind of resources the child has at home, that they're going to have every opportunity to be academically excellent, just like anyone else in the school district. Educating them with a true purpose, using purposeful actions so that doesn't really cost to do that, but making sure that we're pursuing that perfectly 100% of our kids, and understanding that every kid has a different future. We have 23,000 kids, and individually serving them and making sure that we achieve their dreams doesn't always mean college. For many of our kids are going to get into a really, really good college because they know that. But we also have kids who are going to start their careers as soon as they leave us, and working on those programs to be able to achieve them and have them to be just as to be looked at by our employers both here and in the state and in the nation. We really do think that's important. Having that competitive advantage with our employers and the demand for the NISD graduates. Regional area talent network. Early identification intervention system, making sure that we identify kids in need very early and we intervene with them very early to make sure, and again, that's just going to go to us to where we're going to close those achievement gaps should they open. State level involvement. We want more kids involved in statewide organizations. You saw 2 great examples of kids who are on the state level. Celine has a lot of her kids, and then we have a lot of other programs. There are kids. We need to get more kids involved in those leadership positions because they have it in them. We just need to provide those opportunities for them, and to make sure that we can, if we can truly go paperless, we have all digital operations to make sure that we can serve our kids, serve our staff in the 21st century. All right. 5-year imperatives that may very well be added or be asked to be included in the next bond whenever that's going to happen. A community-centered programs, looking at expanding our programs on campuses that our communities are telling us they need. A law academy, a first responder academy. Celine was talking about a teaching academy today. Those things that we need to expand as we grow. Early childhood center. for our early learners, and also one that would also entail an employee daycare. One of the things that I talk about all the time, and well, not talk about, but hear about all the time when I go to faculty meetings, if we had a school district daycare, that would be a huge, huge advantage to our staff. They would really love for us to be assisting them with the daycare. And so a lot of districts do have this, and I would love to at least investigate the possibilities of us having an employee daycare as well. Expansion of school choice beyond just the high schools. I think we do a phenomenal job in the district of giving kids choices through our academies, but is that all we can do just through our academies, just through our high schools? Could we move it down? Does it truly matter where a student lays their head every night to where they go? So we're gonna be investigating school choice, not just 21st but 22nd century PD. Where's Stephanie? Yeah, there you go. And really bringing and like I said during convocation, every staff member, every position, gaining that professional development they need to guarantee excellence for all. I'd love to talk to the next committee about truly a special event center, somewhere where we could have all the communities come together. We have such a diverse school district. We have such a unique school district with the 14 different communities, but actually have a center where all communities could come together for our graduations, for our convocations, for special events, for athletic events. I mean, just something that we could do for our community. So that's something we actually talked about. Tim actually talked about this during the committee work this time. We just did not think it was an appropriate time, but we would like to continue to explore that. Resilient service links for all NISD locations. New transportation centers. In the next 5 to 10 years, we will probably grow to the point where we don't just need the one transportation. In fact, it will probably be not cost effective just to have one transportation center, but to have multiple centers as we grow. So both the transportation centers and maintenance centers in the next 5 to 10 years. In the next 10 years, again, the transportation and maintenance centers as we grow, truly serving every kid anywhere they are in the district, and instructional access for all students anywhere all the time, that we're not just limited to learning and teaching just from 8 to 4 during school, that our kids can participate in learning, our teachers can participate in teaching at any time in the next 10 years. Pre-K for all. I really believe that pre-kindergarten for all students would drive us very far academically if we were able to, and of course a lot of that has to do over the next 2 years, probably over the next 4 to 6 years as the legislature still molds the school finance system. But if we can afford a pre-K for all, I think that would be a boon for us in that. An arts magnet center, a data center, 50% sustainable energy, looking at being as green as we can in the district. In-house police force, we've talked about this. We have great relationships with those entities that we contract with for SROs, but they're not ours. I mean, we do always have to contract. Sometimes those contracts go away, and then sometimes they're not available. And so I would love to investigate the need for an in-house police force to be able to do that, and eventually a new central office administration is what we talked about. And then I talked about this during convocation, just some of the superintendent's initiatives. This is a list again, just to kind of get you thinking about what you're going to set for me with my imperatives, my performance objectives. I wanted you to see that. I talked about this. We talked about this together as an administrative team with the entire leadership team, with the campuses, and just those things that I'm going to be looking at over the next several years, looking at the data that's coming back and what are those things that we need to keep our eyes on the ball. So again, just wanted you to have this. I want you to start thinking about, especially as we get ready in the next 3 to 4 weeks for our Team of 8 training, and you're probably going to have maybe 10 to 15 things yourself to add to these kind of lists that you've been looking at for years, and the things that are important to you. So I'm very pleased. I'm very proud of the staff. I really am, guys. They got in there, and you could just tell the love of the district from every one of your leaders in that group. You can just tell the love of the district, the love of the kids, and they've put in a lot of personal thought and a lot of personal effort into making us what we are and what we will be. So that was, I wanted you to have that. I wanted you to have that at least a month before we got into the Team of 8 training, just for you to start thinking about those things. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Warren threw a softball. Anybody want to swing?
Wow. Yes, but over multiple years.
Really, no questions? What your staff had to say about your list? Were they pretty excited and invigorated by the opportunity?
They were absolutely. They said they would like me in all of their business all the time. Moving on.
Okay, good things to come then. Move on to item number 11, which is consider any item removed from the consent agenda, and there were none. That moves us down to the board president's report. Before we get to that, we kind of went over the budget tax rate really quickly, and it's interesting because all of you in the room know how much the budget takes of your time. And I know you're already planning the 2018-2019 budget, and it just seems like it never ends. But I want to thank you all for your hard efforts in getting that together. It's not an easy task, and we do appreciate it. And board members, I appreciate you guys too. Steve, you haven't lived through the full session of our planning, and it starts here in about a month or so. And these guys are already preparing stuff for us to start looking at, and it'll be a fun experience. So we appreciate all you guys' diligence in getting that thing together. For the preparation of the beginning of school, I just want to say thank you to all of the staffs, all the schools, all the administrators we have here, some of the parents, grandparents that were at schools today. And I know we're going to get out early tonight, and that's a great thing because I know many of you are tired from today's activities. I didn't want to say, is Angela still here? She just had a birthday this week, so she's 29. One more year, she'll be 30. Excited for her. We do have a board meeting date change for next month. So in observance of Columbus Day, we would like to cancel the October 9th board meeting and just have the one on October the 23rd. When Dr. Warren asked me that, I said, our board members are going to be very sorrowful, but they may make a sacrifice just for you, Dr. Warren.
Thank you, sir.
Also, Northwest Metroport Legislative Luncheon is this Friday, September the 1st. It's at the DFW Marriott Championship Parkway. Is it too late to register? I know many of us already have. Is that correct, Jennifer? Okay. If you haven't registered and would like to, get with Jennifer. Team of 8 training, Monday, September the 18th. It's going to be a slumber party, so bring your favorite movie. It lasts till 5:30 to 10. Dinner will be provided, and entertainment by Dr. Warren and Dr. Denise Collier will facilitate. And the last thing I want to mention is a discussion on our startup time. Because I know a lot of our administrators, they stay at the end of the day, and then they come in and they wait for us to come and start the board meeting, and then it lasts really late. So I know some of you, it's hard for you to get here 30 minutes earlier, but I just wanted to bring it up as a discussion item to see if you want to start executive session at 5:30 and the regular meeting at 6:30. If you can't, I understand, so I'd like to hear some dialogue from you guys.
I guess I'll just go ahead and say I kind of timed it out today, just looking for me getting from work. It wouldn't be an issue for me if the rest of the board is okay with that. That's just me.
Dr. Simpson?
Yeah, I think that's what I was concerned about. Is it 7 o'clock or 6:30 for the parents as opposed to 7 o'clock? I don't know who you guys think around that, but parents getting off work and home to get their shows fed and
I don't know. I just thought it'd be a benefit to our administrators, but it's whatever the pleasure of the board is. What about you guys on the end, Mel? You're indifferent? Okay.
If it helps them,
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, we have budget workshops that start at 5:30, and we seem to be able to make all those. So I don't have a problem starting earlier. Just gives me more time to talk till.
Is there any way we can do a straw
everybody
poll?
laughing?
Just kind of poll a cross section of the parents to see if they would have an issue.
I'll go figure something out.
Okay. Well, if you wouldn't mind doing that and get back to us, I would appreciate it.
Christy, did you look up our policy? Is our start time in policy, or is it just published?
I apologize, I did not look that up.
That's all right. We'll look that up, and if it's in our policy, you'd have to vote to change it, so we'll look that up as well.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. That concludes my report. Brings us to Superintendent's report. Dr. Warren.
Board, just a couple of things. I have no idea why Jennifer put this one down on my list, but tomorrow, if you're not doing anything at 6 p.m., I'm having a Facebook Live Q&A. Emily has talked me into this one more time. So we will be taking questions and having a good comments, a good conversation with anyone who's on Facebook Live for tomorrow afternoon at 6. And then first football games this week. If you're interested in going to Denton on Thursday, the Fighting Eaton Eagles, of which I will be there to represent us, will be their first game on that. And then we have Byron Nelson is going to be in Garland, Saxe, on Friday, and the Texans are at home. And so we're gonna be good. So I hope to see everybody at least Friday night in the press box. Mr. Schluter, we had a good first day. Thank you for y'all's leadership, and it really was. And again, be proud of this crew out there. They did an excellent job.
Lillian.